Hi, my name is Margaret Burnett Hammaker. I'm making this video to do a demonstration of how I do my bows with mesh ribbon. Okay, zoom in on the ribbon. I use both 10-inch ribbon, 6-inch ribbon. I think this is 8-inch ribbon. It all come from different stores, but this is what I do first. I unroll my ribbon on the tabletop like this. I usually lay my spare pair of scissors on top of it just to keep it in place while I'm doing this. I go right past the tip of the scissors, and that's where I cut it off. Now some people measure and do all that with the tape measure and the cutting board and all that. I don't do that. I just eyeball it. And I'm going to cut me about 3 strips of each color. And again, this is the 10-inch ribbon. I always get metallic. Make sure you Google or you select ribbon that it says metallic. You'll see that it has the little gold flecks in it. This one has gold. This one has the same blue. I don't want the flat ribbon. I want the metallic. I got my green. I'm going to use a little purple. Again, I just lay the scissors down. Not only does it give me a place where I'm supposed to cut, it keeps it from rolling up while I'm trying to cut it out. And my bows that I make with mesh ribbon generally have about 12 pieces of mesh that I've cut up before I make my bow. So just eyeball it and cut out the colors that you want. This is going to be a bow for a men's gift, so that's why I'm not using a bunch of pink or anything like that. Same thing with the shorter ribbon. I'm going to cut about three strips of this, and it's just the colors that you choose. If I was doing it for a woman, it may have more pink or ivory. I've got white ribbon. I get a lot of my ribbon from Amazon. I get it from Dollar Tree. I get it from Dollar General. Really, I just pick it up anywhere I could see it on sale or cheap. Is what I do. All right, there's the red. Here's some turquoise. And see, this is an even smaller ribbon than the other I've been cutting up, because this is 6 and that other was 8, and I think the biggest one is 10. But this is how I cut it out. And I'm gonna have 3 of each. This is a men's gift that I'm gonna be putting together to use this bow for. But hey, guys like rainbows too. I can use the rainbow in it, because the way that I use it, you're not gonna be able to tell it was rainbow. It's just gonna be another shade of color in the ribbon, in the bow. So I need one more, and I've almost finished this roll of this navy blue. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish it off. Just whatever's left on the roll. That's what I'm gonna use. See how it wants to curl up if you don't put something on top of it. Now y'all, my son Jonathan is my photographer right now. This is the first video I've ever made. I've had a lot of requests to ask me, how do you get your bow to do that, or how do you do your bow? Well, that's why I'm making this video, and I'm hoping that I don't sound completely like cornbread when I'm talking to y'all right now. Okay, once you get all of your strips, just lay them down and let them roll up. There's no particular way, but just lay them down and let them roll up, because you're going to need it rolled up. So I just lay them where I can get hold of all of them, and I did 3 of each color. Let me move these rolls, I'll have more range. And I just separate them where I can get hold of them with one hand. Because once you start your bow, you're only going to have one hand, and you'll be holding everything with the other hand. So, now, You may ask me, well, how do you know how many of what color and how do you know what color? I don't. I just play with it. I just hold the rolls together. Excuse me. I just hold the rolls together and see what looks good together. And that's where I start. I've traditionally put my darker colors in the back. Okay, this is a 10-inch roll, and you see how it lays. We're going to do this kind of like it's a scroll. You see where your two ends that you cut meet. You're going to push it down, and see, it kind of looks like a little scroll out of the Bible. You're just going to scrunch it up between your fingers like that. Put it in your left hand. If you're left-handed, just, I guess, do backwards of what I'm doing. Then take whatever color you want next. You see the cut ends meet, and you just push it in, kind of squeeze it together, add it to this hand. Okay. Then I'm going to take the shorter ribbon. This is 8-inch, I believe, so I'll do it, put it in the front. Why? Because it's a shorter ribbon. Now, with the short ribbon, okay, the 6-inch, you're going to lay it down. You're going to take the top corner where you cut, that top edge and the bottom edge at opposite ends, and you're going to pull it till it's straight and flat. Lay it on your surface and just scrunch the middle together and add it to the rest of your bow. Don't worry about these ends and all this. We'll get that when we're done. But that's how it goes. And then you just rotate your colors. The shorter ribbon, I pull the ends to, like that. Squish it up. See how it's looking kind of like a butterfly as you go? Then I take the longer ends and I wrap it up. It makes that little cylinder type illusion that it gives you, a cylinder type thing. And I just really, there's no rhyme or reason of why I go with what color when. I just think it looks good like this, and this would look good next. And that's kind of how we go. See, I'm fixing it to where I can just push down in the center and squeeze it all together. Add it into my fingers. Now, if you decide you want a different color on the bottom, I decide I want some turquoise down there. All right. Top corner of this part you cut, bottom corner of that part you cut, pull it out, squeeze it in the center, and then just put it under your thumb at the bottom if you want to add that color to the bottom, like that. And we just repeat this whole process until I'm out of ribbon. Okay? Put another turquoise at the top. It's kind of hard to do because this stuff sticks together to each other. But once you get the hang of it, and you've done it a few times, you learn how to just go around that. And this will make a real pretty fluffy bow. Now, like for Easter, kids' ribbons, and this is a dad's ribbon, even though I'm overdoing it because I'm showing y'all. But normally I would only put about 6 for a man's ribbon because men don't care anything about ribbons. The women who are buying the baskets like to see the ribbons. Kids don't care nothing about ribbons. Easter baskets, they just want the toys, the candy. But mom or dad who are looking at that expect to see a big pretty bow. So, I buy a lot of that rainbow mesh for Easter, and I just cut about maybe 3 or 4 strips of the rainbow, and that's the bow they get. Because, like I said, the kids don't care. It's the mom buying it that's looking at that bow. Alright, you see how I squished that together? Put that right there. There's my last short one. I will put that, squish that down, like that. Got one piece of red left. I'm going to do it like I do the small ones. You can do it either way. But I want a long red piece in the front. I've got this one little scrap left. let's see, where's the top? Well, it's not going to behave. I'm just going to squish it and stick it in there. And I'm going to put it under my thumb. Now, when you get it to this point, you got it pretty much in your fist. It's no longer just your fingers because it's so big. I usually fold it together like that and then let it go. I take a chenille stem or a pipe cleaner or whatever you call it in your neighborhood, and I wrap it around the inside where I've had my thumb and my finger. I pull it to the back, pull it just as tight as I can, and then I'm going to squeeze it off and tie off my ribbon. Now, when you get it to this point, okay, you can move it around however you want to, groom it. When I get my bow to this point, I take it by the chenille stem in the back. Make sure you get my face, Jonathan. And I fan myself with it. Why am I fanning myself with it? Because it poofs up every loop on the whole bow. You can still move the loops around if you want to, if they're not where you want them to be. That's what I do. Chenille stem, I don't cut it off. I tie it to the top of my bag where the cellophane comes together, because some people will want to keep these ribbons and use them again on another gift. So I just wrap that around the top or hide it up in the bow. And after I've tied it on. Now, we're done. We have these little straggly threads hanging out. And I just kind of give it a haircut, y'all. If I see one, I snip it off. I don't try to go even on it or measure or do any of that stuff. I just make it easy on myself and get these loose ends off of here. Okay? There's one more. Okay? You can imagine what the floor looks like when I get through making baskets at the end of the holiday. I just cut those off. And there you go. Now, that's how I do it. I believe in giving credit where credit is due. The first time I saw anybody work with mesh was Felicia from Birthing Bosses with Felicia, Lady Fee. And the other one was Elaine Adams with Love Basket Express. And folks, all I did was play with it until it looked like I wanted it to. If you don't like the way that looks, you can turn it over and put the red at the bottom. That's what I like about mesh. There's no right or wrong way. If you don't want that to show, then make your little bow and tie it in the front. You can move your things around. Hopefully you enjoyed my video. Hopefully I didn't ramble on too much. I am planning on getting the YouTube channel up and running, and I hope you follow me and subscribe when I do. Thank y'all from the Piney Woods of Southeast Texas.